All right, we are ready to get our next panel on. Talking about the bear.
Get it on.
One more time. Let's hear it for PlebLab. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Let's first of all, let's go through each of you and tell us what you work on.
My name is Nick. I'm a software engineer at Galoy. If you're not familiar with our company, we make open source Bitcoin banking software. You're probably familiar with what's going on in El Salvador. We make the Bitcoin Beach wallet. We support that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just a coder. I work here at a PlebLab. It's fun hanging out with all these crazy people here.
Hey everybody, my name is Austin Mitchell. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Synota. Synota is doing energy payments on the Lightning Network. What I tell people when they sort of understand what is the problem we're solving, I say, look at your energy bill. You'll see that you're paying for energy that you used 30, 60, sometimes 90 days ago. So, as you can imagine, Lightning Bitcoin solves this by speeding up the payment flow and reducing things like credit risk and cash lag and all sorts of issues which really plague the energy industry today.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. I'm Santos. I'm the Vice President of Strategy at Zebedee. We have a plug-and-play Lightning API with support for all levels of the protocol. I also am a founder of an application called Emeralize. It's an e-learning platform where creators can sell courses and ebooks and has incentives for learning, so you can get rewards for completing courses. And my background is in fintech payments. I worked for American Express prior to joining Zebedee, their global data repository team. I joined as the first product hire, and then I was the business lead of tech and product before moving into strategy. So I'm a builder. I can design, write code. Yeah.
All right, awesome. So we're building in a bear market right now. I want you to just kind of tell me, what's your mindset about a bear market? What's your personal mindset? And then how does it affect the work that you're doing now or the work that you're going to do in the future?
I love the Bears. Just like Ben the Carman says, right? Well, what is that? Where's Ben the Carman? What does he say about bears? Fuck the Bears. But yeah, I actually enjoy building in the bear market better than the bull market. There's just way more focus. For instance, at Galoy, before kind of in the bull market, where it's really easy to get a team of engineers just building all this random stuff. Maybe some of it's a pipe dream that might happen in 3 or 4 years. Maybe it's a longer, more focused thing. But typically in a bear market, you got to really, focus. You got to re-get focus on, what is making me revenue today. So basically at Galoy, we had to kind of refocus some of the teams and what we were working on. So we started to actually work together more. We started to swarm on our main features. We're putting more focus into the Bitcoin Beach wallet right now is one of our biggest revenue generators. So yeah, I think it puts more focus in the team. I'm actually having more fun because we're being more collaborative amongst the team and not working in our separate silos. So bear markets rule.
I love that answer. Okay, so what I'll first admit is this is actually my first bear market as somebody who's orange-pilled into Bitcoin. So I don't have a typical. But what I can say is that for us, it really is a question of why does this bear market exist? So the first customers that we're actually serving with our software are Bitcoin miners. And what we're enabling Bitcoin miners to do is to basically pay their energy bills, their hosting bills, their capital bills, any of their expenses on a daily basis on the Lightning Network. So pay as you go in Bitcoin, sort of getting out of the net 30 trap that they're locked into today. And so when you can think about what the bear market actually means, within the mining industry today is you've got depressed prices, but what sort of led to some of the struggles that industry is facing are poor risk management practices, bad use of capital. And so what we're doing is we're offering a solution actually that matches what the bear market is driving, which is much more operational rigor, much more focus on risk management. So in our standpoint, the bear market really is sort of the perfect thing for us to demonstrate the value of the solution that we're bringing, because it solves the problems that sort of led to the bear market as they face it today.
What bear market? This is a builder's market. But in all seriousness, I think building in the bear market requires you, exactly as other panelists have stated, to ship quickly and begin collecting data and surveying customers, doing user interviews and testing your hypothesis. Ultimately, like any feature that you're building, any new product that you're building is a hypothesis, and you need market validation to prove product market fit. So I think like coming up with the MVP, simplifying the designs, shipping it, collecting data, and then iterating is really like how you become quite scrappy and resourceful, because it doesn't make sense to build like a full featured product or a full like perfect experience as a feature to only then test it and then the hypothesis is wrong and you spent 3 months where you could have spent 2 weeks like testing out whether or not your solution is actually correct. So I think that's one key portion, at least as it relates like product development and design. And then the other piece is like building with revenue in mind. So from the beginning, thinking about like, how am I going to monetize this feature? How am I going to get a return on my invested capital? And I think incorporating that into like any feature that you're building is quite critical.
Let's talk about, so in the bear market, there's probably, you were mentioning like focus. A lot of things kind of like become clearer that maybe weren't while everything crazy was happening in the bull. How do you then like prioritize what you need to work on in the bear market? And maybe in the bear market you have limited resources. So how does that also prioritize what you do?
Yeah, so it's a bear market, but in the fiat world, it's a failing market. I don't know if anyone heard about bank failures the last couple of weeks, you know, Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, Credit Suisse. Yeah, so it's really exciting actually working for a Bitcoin company that's writing open source code to kind of help with, you know, some of the world's biggest problems. You know, banks are failing left and right. Like I lived through the 2008 crisis. You know, I was getting out of college at the time, got a job at a big fiat company. All my bosses got fired and they let the, you know, college kid right out of school basically do this stuff like guys with 20 or 30 years experience did. So, I mean, for me, I don't know why, but bear markets usually are good for me. It's bad for some people. But yeah, as in regards to prioritization, I mean, it's just, you have, what you build, like Santos was saying, it has to be what the customers want. You can't just build some stupid feature no one's gonna use. You have very limited resources. So yeah, just working at a Bitcoin company during these bank runs, it's super exciting. So everything's a priority. We gotta kill the fiat system and build the infrastructure for the next Bitcoin system that will run the whole world.
Big task.
So I think, you know, for an early stage startup, I mean, one thing is always true is you're going to see upside to focus. So whether it's a, you know, bull market, bear market, if you're not focused as an early stage startup, you're not setting yourself up for success. Now, when it comes to, you're sort of thinking about, you know, capital management and what should you be doing to, you know, bull market versus bear market differently, I also kind of think that in that way it's not too different either. I think that you think a little bit more closely around timing of capital raising and things of that nature. But, you know, for us as a company, we've operated professionally from the very start, like accounting codes, you know, building, you know, keeping track of all of our expenses very, you know, clearly. So it's not like we live high on the hog during a bull market and then, you know, tighten the belt during the bear market. It's you run a business the right way from day one, and that should involve being prudent in how you spend money.
Yeah, that was really well said. I would say like prioritizing is always like a key thing to do as any like company, is making sure that you're building the features that customers are demanding or requesting from you, along with things that will generate you the most revenue with the least complexity. So one like model that I like to use is like the impact effort matrix, which then can give you like a good idea of like whatever you're trying to optimize for, depending upon the stage that you're in, whether that's like user acquisition or generating revenue after you've like reached a certain critical mass of users and monetizing those users. So then really like whatever the impact is that you desire, rating it like 1 to 5 along with the relative complexity 1 through 5, and then like basically dividing it into being able to develop a score and then use that to understand which features you should build and how you should prioritize them. It's also good to do like cap zero analysis, so then you can get an idea of like how much capital expenditure that you're going to need to build a particular product or feature relative to like the revenue potential. I think like doing that and along with evaluating at each stage how correct that was from the beginning that you set out, because you'll initially start, at least with software, with specificate like discovery to get an idea of like what it is that you need to build and how many resources you need to devote to it. You'll begin like speccing it out, which then is another opportunity to evaluate it, and then understanding like the timeline and the engineering resources, the product resources that are needed. Then you'll actually get to design, where then you, again, maybe the problem is much larger than you thought, or maybe there's a simpler solution. Then you actually get to building, which at that point you might end up finding that the complexity is even more greater than what you initially thought. And then you might choose to abandon an idea. So I think defining a timeline, like 6 weeks, and trying to focus on what you can deliver in 6 weeks to keep like the resource costs low, and then reevaluating at each stage. That really helps like determine priorities, and then priorities might change within that 6 weeks, like within each iteration.
Santos, you're very systematic, it seems like. Makes a lot of sense that you're developing educational tools. Like, you're good at that stuff.
Thank you.
You're a Scrum guy?
Yeah, I was the first product hire at Zebedee, so I developed like all the processes and procedures.
You sound like a Scrum guy.
I also like how each of you are talking about this. Like, I kind of feel like the sentiment is like bull market, bear market, doesn't matter. We're staying focused, we're gonna build, we're gonna grind. So let me just ask you straight up, like, how important is price to you? Bitcoin's price.
What's Bitcoin going at right now? I don't even know. 20s, 40s, 50s, 26? Really? Oh, damn, it's up since last I checked. 27 now? Oh, okay. Well, shit, I better top up. Yeah, price really doesn't matter, especially for me, like the focus of our company at Galoy is really Bitcoin adoption, right? We're focused right now, obviously, largely in El Salvador, largely banking the unbanked, Venezuela, Argentina, Africa. They don't know the difference between a bull and a bear market. Like, it's just life to them. Like, there's not these big ups and downs. That's like pretty fiat. I don't even think we'll have bull and bear markets in the future. That's kind of a fiat concept, in my opinion. So yeah, price doesn't matter. Stack sat, stay humble. Who says that? Odell. Shout out.
It's tough to top that. I think the one thing I'll say is, so price doesn't matter to us as well, but it's mainly because we price matters to some of our customers, of course, but we are a Bitcoin technology company, so we focus on Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, and in fact, it's really just the vehicle for moving value, if you will. So in that way, Bitcoin could be $5. I pray it doesn't go that low, or it could be $5 million. It doesn't matter for our software. And so I think that's, part of what, when, we were raising money and things, that's an essential element of the story, because we could say, hey, we're indifferent to price. It's all about the technology and what it enables.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add to that, though. That was extremely well said.
Cool. Let's ask you one more question. Speculative, just for fun. When is the bear market going to end? Maybe is this the last one, like you were saying?
I don't know. Move to El Salvador. There's no bull or bear market. It's just pure growth. Texas too, I think, especially like the Austin area. Like, I grew up kind of like in probably the shittiest place in America, like near Flint, Michigan. It's kind of my hometown. Like, so I mean, everything's better than that. So everything's a bull market to me. So I had clean water. I had well water growing up.
Yeah, I don't have an exact prediction on when it ends. I don't even know how that is defined, frankly. So, you know, we feel very good that, you know, I would say the one thing that's going to be interesting, just, you know, kind of tying it to mining, is the halvening coming up. You know, I think that, you know, we're very happy with, you know, 27K or touching that today. But when you chop the amount of BTC mined a day in half, that is an insufficient price for the mining industry. So something to think about is that, you know, unless you're seeing Bitcoin north of 45K about this time next year, it's going to be a very interesting landscape.
Yeah, I think that it's already kind of ending. And I look at like the adoption in terms of like developers and applications, the categories that the applications are in. Within the gaming sector, we've seen like tremendous growth from like gaming studio partners integrating Bitcoin into their applications to pay out rewards to gamers, as well as like other new application categories like beginning to integrate Bitcoin and Bitcoin payments. And then we're seeing like pretty large increases of Bitcoin applications in general, like new startups taking off, user growth increasing, awareness increasing. Yeah, so I think we're already like seeing that.
Dude, I love it. This is a great report from the bear market. Does anybody else have any questions?
For Austin, if I remember correctly, you were raising during like most of the bear market, right? Like, how hard was it as a co-founder and CEO to take on that, you know, and then be successful in it? Good advice there, I'm sure.
Yeah, you know, certainly I really enjoyed the last panel, and you know, we raised during the bear market, kind of right in the heart of it. It was, you know, we really focused on team, product, and market, and made sure those things were all, you know, as strong as they could be. And I think that, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, you know, if you have the right fundamentals, and you're able to really tell the right story around how those fundamentals can ultimately lead to, you know, a successful company, you know, you're gonna be okay. I think it really is the ones who have lesser fundamentals are the ones that sort of fall by the wayside, and I think that's still true for Bitcoin companies today. You know, it's still a very active market. You know, there's not a shortage of capital if you are a good company raising in this space today. There was actually one thing I was thinking about, you know, as they were talking. You know, Keon was saying, hey, you know, you're asking rich people for money. I actually kind of learned something through the process, and it's a credit to my investors, but they really sort of gave me a lot of education around negotiation, thinking about really what are you bringing to the table. And so I'll kind of screw up the wording a little bit, but it was sort of, you're not asking for money, you're selling a part of $1 billion company at a really good price. And so it's sort of thinking a different position that you're in, because you're the one with the idea, you're the one with the team, you're the one with the product. You know, you have the things that they don't have. They have money, you don't have that. But you have the potential, and I think that if you can really think through your own positioning throughout all of the negotiations, I learned time and time again that I was undervaluing myself, or not myself, undervaluing the team, what we were doing. I'm definitely overvalued, I'll tell you that. But the thing that really just sort of stands out is really knowing your position in negotiation. And I think it starts by saying you're selling a part of your company, and this is a really high value thing.
Cool. Do we have another out there? Yes.
How do you keep from burning out in the bear market, and especially like Santos for you, like doing full-time job and then side project at the same time? How do you keep from just burning out?
Yeah, I do quite a bit. I spend a lot of time working, but I think like taking breaks when you're starting to really reach that burnout point, when you're like joining meetings or like you're not excited about what you're doing anymore, that's like a key indicator for me that I'm burning out. Like when I start like just kind of showing up just to be there, but I'm like a zombie, or I can't think straight, then I know it's time to take some time away from things. It's a marathon. It's not necessarily a sprint. So when you start feeling burned out and less passionate about what you're doing, it's time to take like at least a 4-day weekend. And I guarantee, like if you actually put your laptop away, we're all, like Michael Atwood was saying earlier, we're all psychopaths. If you put your computer away for like 4 days and you don't really allow yourself to work and you force yourself to take that break, I guarantee, like, when you get back, you'll be really well rested and you'll be like itching to get back. You'll be excited to talk with people again. And that's typically what I'll do, is go really hard for like 3 months, and then I'm starting to burn out, take some time away, and come back rested.
How do I not burn out? Oh man, I surround myself by these plebs here. I feel like we help each other, like not burn out. We do a lot of fun events, like even like outside of Bitcoin, you know, Bitcoin adjacent. We've got like the Bitcoin Brotilla, where we go down to the lake, drink beers every Saturday, listen to DJ music, get some sun. Yeah, I mean, just don't code 24/7. Just code 23/6.
Do you have anything on that?
I mean, I think the only thing I would add is, you know, for me, it's just about communication with people and really just being connected to the people around you. I mean, if you are feeling ever like a little down about something, you know, don't be afraid to tell somebody. Be vulnerable. Chances are the person you're talking to is going to also feel that same way, and they may have some good advice or have felt that way in the past. So I think that, you know, burnout, you know, generally is you know, you're all in a space that you love. It's probably not usually because of the work per se. It's usually because of other things in life sort of compounding together. And so I always think it's helpful in moments like that just to reach out. You know, it's important to have, you know, focus on friendship.
And Nick says join PlebLab.
I would say, like, for me personally, like Austin, we've had a really deep conversation multiple times. On my side, I'm grateful for that, because like he definitely got me back on track for how I was looking at things. So thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, going to meetups really helps a lot. Every time I go to like the Arizona Bitcoin Network meetup, I come out feeling refreshed. And sometimes I'm like really tired going into those things, but then I'm more energized than ever.
Very good. Okay. Let's see from the crowd, how many of you regularly attend a Bitcoin meetup? Okay, that's probably what I thought, just about everybody. Yeah, I love that. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep building in the bear. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Let's go.